Hey YouTube, Hassan here again with another film review. Today I'll carry on with my X-Men series. Today we're talking about the fifth installment of the X-Men series called X-Men Origins Wolverine, which takes place like starting point kind of thing, like starting the X-Men series thing. Let's begin. X-Men Origins, this X-Men actually starts off like two different openings. One, it's got, if you've seen like the first film, see at the beginning there's this kid who gets separated from his mom and then has like tag thing and then like, finds out he has powers. That guy is none other than, that kid should say, none other than Magneto. And then the second opening is like this rich kid who's like obviously like I said, he's rich. Lives in a mansion. He sees this girl who's like blue, naked in like the kitchen. Her name is Mystique, and Mystique and Charles Xavier, they become adopted brother and sisters. And then when they're growing up years later, and then goes to the other that first opening again with like where Eric, I'll say his name is Magneto. His mom gets shot by this guy called Sebastian who wants to make like Eric actually make his powers come out because he thinks that his powers are really powerful. So because of that, so what happens is then he then uses that anger that he's got because of it. He then like basically releases it, which then basically bad. And now Eric has grown up and is looking for Sebastian. He's like on the hunt. So what happens is then Charles Xavier and Mystique they go to this person who actually believes that they're not a threat, that the mutants aren't a threat and stuff. So to go to this place where that some mutant things, and then like they meet this guy called Hank McCoy who has the feet for hands thing, like I said in like X-Men, like he's one of my X-Men videos, and then but he's actually human at the moment. And then what happens is then Eric, he like basically he tries to kill Sebastian, who as it turns out he has powers like he's a mutant, he can absorb stuff, like literally absorb the mutant's powers. So what happens is then Magneto, or should I say Eric, he then tries to but fails and then gets rescued by Charles Xavier and Mystique, who then take him back to their place, and it gives him like this thing, it's like, oh, you can either go, I'm letting you go, but you can go if you want, but it's up to you, but it won't help you with that pain and stuff like that. But then he comes back and they build Cerebro, that prototype of it, to find the mutants, and then they find some of them, and they also meet Wolverine, who only there for like a second. There's a link to it, so like, yeah, that's good. But also what happens is then like they're in that place, but they get attacked by Sebastian, who then kills one of the mutants, and then one of the girls, she goes with Magneto, goes with Sebastian. Also, Mystique, she and the other mutants, they name Eric, Magneto, and Professor Xavier, Professor X, which becomes very famous. I was like, yeah, that's good. And then what happens is, like, basically, they go to Charles Xavier's mansion, which we saw at the beginning, where he builds another Cerebro, and then he trains the mutants to control their powers and have Eric control his power, like control that anger in him, the one that's controlling his powers. So then what happens is then, but also Mystique, she's talking with Benito, and he's just like, you shouldn't be afraid of who you are, you shouldn't be afraid to who you really are, you should be true to who you are, you should never be afraid to hide the true self. That's when she stops wearing clothes and, becomes a blue one. And Hank, he experiments on himself, and then he turns into a blue hairy guy, yeah, and he calls himself the Beast. So then they go to fight Sebastian, and then Magneto, he fights Sebastian, and Magneto lets Sebastian beat him up, because they're in this glass room where it stops mutants' powers. So then it breaks the glass eventually, and beats like Sebastian up, and then takes the helmet and then kills him, and then he wears that helmet which becomes very famous for Magneto. Goes out and then tries to kill his people, and then Professor Xavier tries to stop him, but then gets paralyzed. Yeah, he gets shot, essentially, and then Professor Xavier says to Mystique, "Go with him. It's best you go with him." And he does. They go with it. She goes with him, and at the end, it's like Professor Xavier's on a wheelchair and talking about like, "Oh, next thing you know, I'll be bald and stuff." So, and then what happens is then like he then mind wipes the scales lady's memory who thinks that's a dream. And then it goes to, in the end, where like Magneto's with Mystique and everyone, and then they release this lady who's called Emma Frost, who's got telepathy as well, and is a diamond form, the one I said in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Like her, but it's like the fourth and that. I'm not sure if it's linked, but And then what happens is, then she's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I am Magneto." And thing also to be noticed is that he's wearing the same helmet but like repainted red, and his like costume that he's wearing or uniform whatever, that's red, the one that becomes famous for Magneto. The end. Now what I like about it is that it explains like how Professor Xavier got paralyzed, and how the Xmen and the Brotherhood got formed, and also it explains unanswered questions like that, and also how Professor Xavier and Magneto actually like know each other. There's a starting point of it, so that was good. And I liked how they also had the fact that it had like Hank becoming like the Beast, showing how he became it, and also showing like also how Mystique went to join Magneto and stuff like that. How she became so loyal to him and like stuff like that, and what actually made Magneto, or say Eric, hate humans because they hate mutant kind. So that. Now what I didn't like about this film was that at the there's like these guys who like not Magneto, but Professor Xavier and Mystique tried to convince. They're so sexist, man. They're like, "Oh, you should be in the kitchen," and stuff like that. And they're like, and even at the end, yeah, when Professor Xavier wiped her memory, she went to like, "Oh, it's a dream." She's like other kissing, so that they're like, "Oh, it's a typical girl, man." They're such sexist, man. Didn't like that. Also, I didn't like how the fact that they killed one of the mutants. Also, I would have loved to have also seen like Wolverine. I'm not sure if it's like then there's adamantium claws and stuff like that, but still, if he was like, it'd be good to actually have him like helping them out. But what can you do? Also, that's it really. And for overall review, this film I'll give it 7 out of 10. And thank you guys for watching. Remember, leave your comments below on what next film I should review. Remember, tune in next week when I'll be reviewing the next installment of the X-Men series, X-Men Wolverine basically, which is a sequel to X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's called just the Wolverine, but it's called Wolverine, but yeah. Well, that's all for now, guys. This is Hassan signing out. Bye.